Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our November Enshrine Learning Academy webinar. It's been a big year. Have you got the lesson yet, or is there more to do? We're so excited to have all of you on the call with us today, and we're really excited about unpacking this topic in all of our three unique ways. And as you know, there are three Enshrine Learning Academy coaches. It's myself, Usha Maharaj, and Baret and Belinda Doveston. And this morning we're going to take you on a journey, and we're going to take you on a journey taking you into 2019 thinking, goal setting, dreams, visions, purpose, potential, power, all of those good things. And it's all about unlocking and creating our best year ever. 2020 is coming at pace. Let's make sure that we're ready for it. But before we dive in, let's just acknowledge all of you beautiful people in the room. And it's been absolutely phenomenal this year, where we've had webinars on a monthly basis through the Enshrine Learning Academy. And we've had some of you join us on a regular basis, and some of you pop in and out of webinars based on the topics that you've really enjoyed and connected with. And this morning, we're excited to have all of you in the room with us. If you haven't said hi as yet, pop a note in the chat box so that we all know that you're here. Donovan, Monique, Corbus, Colette, Esther, Greg, Lazan, Omar, Maxwell, Kugesan, Shobin, Russell, Tom, Messiah, Jyoti, Siva, Bilal, Shanae, you're all extremely welcome in the room this morning. Connect with us, engage, ask your questions as they pop into your minds. We've got some webinar polls that we'll be launching. Just actively engage with the polls. Let's just enjoy our time together. We should be done at about 10 a.m. this morning. Let's enjoy the next hour together, and let's let you leave with some actions and some strategies to create and set yourselves up for an enormous, impactful, influential, fabulous, outstanding 2020. Hi, Tracy, Wasumzi, Evelyn. We're about to kick off this webinar, and then we're going to move at pace because we've got so much to cover today. And before we get started, I'm going to kick it off, and then Anne will come in and Belinda will round us off. And at the end, we always leave a bit of time for Q&A, but if you've got questions, just pop them into the chat box as you think about them, and one of us will pick it up and answer you along the way. Now, Pumalelo, Itumaleng, welcome to the webinar. I'm going to get started, and before we kick into looking at our 2019, evaluating it, and looking at where 2020 is going to take us, I want to get your inputs and your insights, but I want to do it really quickly. There are so many of us in the room today, and I want you all to participate. And the quickest way for me to get all of you to engage with me is through two really quick polls. And I'm going to launch the polls. And the way the poll works is I'll launch a question. You'll see it pop up on the screen in front of you. And all you're going to do is you're going to choose the answer that best reflects where you're at the moment. And the first poll that we're looking at is overall 2019 has been. So what has 2019 been for you? Pop in your vote, choose the answer that responds best to where you're at and how you've experienced your 2019, and click on the vote button. And then we're going to get your answers. And in 5 seconds, I'm going to close the poll, and we'll have a quick look at what the sense or the vibe is in the room this morning. So I'm going to count you down. 5. If you haven't put in your answer, click on a choice right now and click vote. 4, 3, 2, 1, and oh, I've still got answers coming through. Okay, I'll give you 3 more seconds. Pop in an answer and click on vote. 3, 2, 1, and I'm about to close the poll, and I am closing the poll. And now I'm going to share the results with you. And the question we've asked is overall 2019 has been. And you want to get a sense for what you're feeling about 2019, how you feel the year's gone for you. And 16% of you have said this has been my best year ever. I am thrilled for you. Well done, ecstatic. And I hope that 2020 even surpasses whatever it is that 2019 has brought for you. 28% of you have said it's been a good year. Then 24% are saying it's been pretty average. And 32%, the winner today, and not the winner in the true sense of the word, but the winner for this poll, are saying too long. I can't wait for it to end. That's what we're saying with regards to our 2019 year. And let's just take it a step further and ask another question. So I've got another poll, and it's going to launch in exactly the same way. When you see the poll launching, pop in your answer and let us know what you're thinking. And now I want to know about your goals for the year. I want to know about the goals that you set for yourself and how you achieved those goals, about my 2019 goals. I didn't set any specific goals for 2019, so select an answer that reflects you and click on vote. I forgot to chase my goals. I hear that all the time. I forgot that I'd set that as a goal. I achieved a few and I missed a few, and I knocked them out of the park. Now, if you knock them out of the park, you're certainly part of the less than 20% that said I had an outstanding 2019. If you're saying, I can't wait for this year to end, often if you look back and you say, was I actively chasing my goals? Did I achieve them? Did I tick all of them off my list? Then there's a correlation between goals and between how the years turned out for us. But let's have a look at that. And the poll is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's have a look at your answers. About my goals for 2019, 17% of you, I said I didn't set any specific goals for 2019. These 17%, how do you know what you're chasing, where you're going, and if you've even gotten there? I didn't set any specific goals for 2019. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit. None of you forgot to chase your goals. Excellent. Well done. I'm very happy to hear that. 63% of you have achieved a few and missed a few. I think that's pretty good. That means you're running in a direction. Yes, maybe you missed a few, but you're actually ticking some of them off the park. And 17% correlates with the first part of the polls that we asked. I knocked them out the park. Here again, hats off to you. I am so thrilled anytime I hear that we're knocking our goals out the park, because it means that we're achieving and we're doing and we're moving towards the things that we want in our lives. Now, let me tell you about what I'm going to be talking about this morning in my part of the presentation. And I'm looking at envisioning 2020, kickstarting your year with passion, purpose, and powerful intent. When we envision what we're looking for, when we create in our minds what we're wanting to achieve and attain, and we add to that some passion, we fuel it with passion, purpose, and intent, your 2020 is inevitably going to turn into one of the best years of your life. So what we're looking for is, in that first poll, we had the majority of us saying, well, not such a grand year, or a lot of us saying, I really want this year to end. We want 2020 to be different for you. And I'm going to share a couple of strategies that's going to help you to make that happen for yourself. So we're going to be, before I even get into that, let me just tell you why I speak about these things. This is me, Usha Maharaj. I'm a chartered accountant, a speaker and a facilitator. I'm a brain-based coach and mentor. So whatever I do, all of the work that I do, I connect it back to how can we get our brains, engage our brains, and give ourselves the best chance for taking action and for doing the things that we want to do in life. I'm a leadership and empowerment enthusiast, a specialist. That's the areas that really tick rub me up the right way. I'm also a non-executive director. I sit on a couple of boards. And I use a profiling tool of choice, which is Contribution Compass. And that really helps my clients to fast track their levels of self-awareness and to just get you to where you're going that much quicker. So that, in a nutshell, is who I am and what I do. But today I want to be talking to you specifically about kickstarting your year, kickstarting 2020 with passion, purpose, and powerful intent. What is passion anyway? Passion is such an incredible word. We hear it thrown around in all different contexts, and there are a few contexts we're not covering in the talk this morning, but we're going to focus on contexts that are aligned to goals and setting yourself up to an incredible 2020. So let's flesh out passion really quickly. Did you know that the word passion comes from the Latin root word patio, and I don't know how you pronounce that. It sounds like it could be patio, but it comes from a word that actually means to suffer. I mean, did you know that? I didn't know that. I mean, passion, when we think about passion, we think about extreme, intense energy, intense feeling, intense emotion. We don't think about pain and suffering. But passion in its truest form comes from a Latin word that means to suffer. And when we look at how this can relate to creating our best year ever, I think you're going to see that actually the truest meaning of the word is going to set us up for making great things happen. So in its present form anyway, passion reflects anything from intense anger, to boundless enthusiasm. And if you didn't know, the lady on the right-hand side of your screen, that is enthusiasm. She's screaming. Those are shouts of joy on her face, not anything else. And you could look at that and say, what is she feeling here? But it's enthusiasm. So passion can go anywhere. It's intense emotion, anywhere from anger to in extreme enthusiasm, and then in many forms in between. So it's these are the two extremes, and you can find the passion all the way in between the scale. Emotion moves us. Emotion comes from the heart. Emotion is what connects us to our purpose. Passion comes from our feeling, and our job is to master keeping the emotions in the positive. And when they sway to the negative, it's about practicing how we use that emotion to fuel ourselves to the end goal, despite the pain, suffering, or unhappiness. So think about passion and what it means, the root of the word passion coming from its Latin roots, where it means to suffer. Here it means whether we're in intense pain, whether we're in intense pleasure, it's about using that passion to fuel ourselves toward whatever it is we're chasing. So the next time you're feeling that intense pain or suffering, remember the source of the word passion, and ask yourself, how can I use this pain, this suffering, this negative emotion, this hurt to move me forward in a positive direction towards something that I am chasing, and not to cripple or paralyze me or stop me from moving. So passion is there, and passion is a word that engages us and connects us to our purpose, and it helps us to move forward at rapid pace. So we've got to ignite it within ourselves. We've got to keep it engaged. And passion connects us to purpose. But what is purpose anyway? Before I go into what is purpose, let me run a quick poll, because I see that we're really good at answering these polls, and I can get some good insights very quickly with the poll. So I'm going to publish a poll on your screen right now. And that poll is saying, I know exactly what my purpose in life is. Now, if you know exactly what your purpose is, then you plop in absolutely. If you're somewhat unsure, then say maybe. And if you have no clue what your purpose is, and you're asking yourself that question on a regular basis, what is my purpose? Why am I doing this? If you've got that sort of uncertainty, then maybe you don't have a clue, and you need to be looking at how can I get a clue with regards to my passion, my purpose. And I'm going to close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it. Thank you for your responses. So in terms of I know exactly what my purpose in life is, 50%, half of you in this room are saying absolutely. And that is most impressive, because when we know our purpose, we can run toward our purpose, and we can have that definite mindset, and we can keep going, and we can move this swiftly. So well done to the 50% of you. 29% of you are sitting on the fence. So maybe I do, maybe I don't. So some days I feel like I know my purpose, some days I don't. 29%, and 21% of you are saying, I really don't have a clue what my purpose is. Now, purpose is such an important word. Purpose is what engages us and gets us to move forward at rapid pace. And I want to bring it down and make it as simple as possible to you, because often when we think about purpose, we make it so complex, and we want to deep dive and try to really unlock and uncover. So in its simplest form, what purpose is. Purpose is connecting yourself to what it is that truly drives you, to what it is that makes you want to get up out of bed every single day. And for some of us, it's our family. It's everything to do with our family. For others of us, it's the adventure and the travel, and it's engaging with the world, and it's moving and finding. For others of us, it's creating financial stability. It's accumulating wealth. For others of us, we've got a purpose that says, I want to save the earth, I want to save the environment. And then yet others of us are connecting with ourselves from a spiritual side. We're saying, I want to find my true self. I want to connect with my inner self. That is what purpose is. Now, there are processes to uncover this purpose and to tell you, to order and prioritize it for you. And I can't go into that right now. And I think Anne or Belinda might cover it a little bit later on. But the first thing you need to do is to connect yourself to your purpose. Know what your purpose is. Know why you're jumping out of bed every single day. If you look at the level of unhappiness in the workplace, I mean, just the levels of stress, ill health, disengagement, it is a global phenomenon. If you've ever felt, I feel a little bit unhappy at work, or if you feel unhappy at work on a regular basis, and all you're thinking about, I'll be happy when I leave my job, I'll be happy when I step into a new job, I'll be happy when I'm doing something else, and this doesn't serve my purpose is elsewhere, and if you're thinking all of those thoughts, let me tell you what, you're actually fueling the unhappiness that you've got in your job, and what you need to do is to shift the context. And the way to shift the context is to connect your job to your purpose. And I'll give you a quick example. If your purpose, your highest purpose is your family, that's what you're really most passionate about, then connect your job to your family. Connect your job to how it is that your job allows you to keep your family happy. How it is that your job allows you to provide for your family. List every single way that your job now serves your purpose, and one of your purposes being your family. And I guarantee that you'll start off in a space where I feel really unhappy about my job, to I actually think my job is not so bad, to I really enjoy being here because this is what allows me to serve my highest purpose. So if you're feeling a little bit unhappy at work, remember that your job is not your purpose. You don't need to find a new job. Yes, maybe you need to find a new job to find your happiness, but first try and bring happiness into the workplace. A lot of us can't do that because we think our job is our purpose. Your job is not your purpose. Connect your job to your purpose. And that's where you'll start to find a little bit more balance and a little bit more of a sense of happiness. So it's about discovering and connecting. And then the last pillar of the 3 pillars that we're looking at is powerful intent. Now, powerful intent is just that. It is all powerful. Powerful intent is about knowing exactly what you want, having crystal clear clarity, being completely specific. It's about setting goals that you can measure, that you can track, that you can take active steps toward every single day. Goals are goals that are in service of your purpose. They're in service of your passions. They are the goals that are going to help you realize your dreams. And if you've come through this year and you said, I might have missed some of my goals. If you've come through this year and you said, it really wasn't such a great year, and I wish that 2020 is going to be better. One of the ways in which you transform your year is to set really clear goals and then engage your entire life toward achieving those goals. Because when you're achieving your goals, you're living your purpose. When you're achieving your goals, you're contributing. When you're achieving your goals, you're adding value not only to yourself and those around you, but to your communities, to your employers, to this entire world. And it's up to each and every single one of us to set the bar high, to keep pushing ourselves, to keep achieving more, because when we achieve more, we're actually contributing more. And it's our job while we're alive on this earth to contribute, to add value. And the way we do that is to set massive goals and then to just start running towards them. It's to have a detailed plan. I mean, how do we know how we're going to achieve the goals? We know how to achieve the goals by having a detailed plan. Your detailed plan should include your yearly steps that you can take toward the goal that are long-term goals, the annual. Then break it down into monthly steps, weekly steps, and even daily steps if that's what you need to get you moving. So have a detailed plan. The detailed plan is what helps us to take action. And once you've got that detailed plan, what do you need to do next? You need to start moving. Not just moving, you need to start running. Every single day you need to run towards those goals. And if you're running toward your goals and you hit them, set a new goal and run toward that goal. And I guarantee if you make this your practice for 2020, if you envision a massive year, if you create a picture in your mind of what you're going to achieve, you're going to achieve all of that and much, much more. So start running towards your goals, start chasing it, start moving toward it, and kickstart 2020 with passion, purpose, and powerful intent. Passion is feel the feeling and move forward anyway. So whether it's a good feeling, whether it's a bad, even good feelings can stop us from moving. Feel the feeling, recognize the feeling, and then set it aside and move forward. Purpose, knowing why you are doing what you do. Connect everything you do back to your purpose, and it makes you want to do the things that you need to do. Powerful intent is about getting crystal clear on what it is you need to do, and then start moving toward it. If you don't take action, nothing's going to change. If you do take action, everything can change. This seems simple enough, yet it is one of the toughest things to do. And that is why when we look back on our years, every single year, when we sit and reflect and we ask those around us, we're always going to find a lot of people that haven't hit the mark, haven't hit the target, haven't realized everything that they're capable of realizing. And if you take these 3 steps and unpack them and bring them into your 2020, I guarantee that you're going to experience a year that will blow all expectations out of the water. And if you are struggling with it and you need a little bit of help with your 3 Ps, and you need a little bit of help to get you set for your best year ever, then I want to help you. Catch me at the end of this webinar, right at the very end, where I'm going to share an exciting offer with you that I actually put together last night just for you that are joining me on this webinar today. But before I get to that, there are other exciting things to come. And one of those exciting things is our next speaker, who is Anne Baret, and who is going to take the conversation up to the next level and bring her unique insights and flavor to it, and really just spark your thinking and your imagination in ways that are going to help you connect better with what we're trying to achieve today. And what we're trying to achieve today is to help you envision a 2020 that's beyond your greatest and wildest dreams, and then to set you up to actually get out there and hit it. And I want to thank you for listening this morning, listening to me, and then also listening to our next 2 speakers that are going to bring in their unique flavor to this topic, and are going to just help us to elevate the discussion to the next level. And on that note, I'm going to sign off, and I am going to hand you across to Anne. If there are any questions in the chat box that I need to answer, I'm going to get to them while Anne's on the call with you, and then we'll pick them up again right at the end of the session if we've missed any in between. So thank you very much, and now I'm about to hand over to Anne. Anne, over to you.
Thank you, Usha. It was such a great introduction to what is needed to take things to the next level for 2020 and making it the best year ever. It's that continuous learning going forward, the lessons that we take from every experience that we have and taking it to the next level. A little bit about me before we start, and I give you other practical tools to build onto what Usha said. In 2 words, I'm a change catalyst. I believe our potential is always just under the surface, and sometimes a little nudge is needed to make a bloom just blossom. So that's what I love doing, and I hope I get to spark some change within you with the 2 tools I'm going to be sharing. So one of the first tools, or one of the tools that I use most of the time with myself and with individual coaching and with teams and organization, is what I call the ladder of power. And I want to get you through it, and we'll end up with an exercise that you can use going forward whenever you feel one of these conditions or feelings. So we all have ideas, thoughts and feelings or wishes, desires, and they all lead to certain decisions. And so the thoughts and feelings lead to the decisions we make, which then manifest the results in the reality of our lives. So actually, by a decision, there is a responsibility involved. However, what happens in most of the environments we're in, or when I do the coaching, is when we're making that decision, there is like a spiral which is inevitable and progressive, where we are in reaction. So it may be, for example, an expectation and assumption. For example, at the end of each year, there is an expectation or assumption that we deserve a salary rise or a promotion, or we're doing something and we're expecting acknowledgement. So what happens is we're requesting that somebody else does something for us to be happy. And Usha hinted to that. So what happens is we don't say anything to our boss, and then the next month we look at our payslip and there's still no increase. And then what happens typically in organizations or in a relationship with a spouse, we expecting flowers, for example, if we did something nice, and then we don't get the flowers, we start going complaining, and we go to our friends and saying, my partner is not very forthcoming with acknowledgement. So you can see that wherever we're expecting others to do something to make us happy without us actually sharing that information with them, we escalate downwards from expectation to complaint to frustration. And what happens then is we disengage. We kind of give up, we resign to things. And that happens with our dreams as well, when we're not clear on what those dreams are. So it is and always escalating or de-escalating, the opposite of escalating. So a complaint could be in a work environment, it's too much work, or I'm underpaid, and this happens then in gossip circles, or the smokers' corners, that in my days they used to call it. Frustration could be something like resisting or withholding or making wrong. You're blaming somebody or something. Being sick. These are all kinds of suppression of energy when we are not expressing of what is really happening. Resignation and moving up and giving up are things like nothing makes a difference, or I've tried everything. So I really want you to start thinking in which areas of your life, it could be yourself or in the work environment or in the family, with Christmas coming up, there's a lot of expectations and complaints and frustrations around certain family members. And because of Christmas, we kind of pushed off having to work with each other or live with each other for a certain period of time. So what is needed? So here you can see it's down the ladder of power. We are in reaction. We are the victim in the sense that somebody needs to do something so that it makes me happy. So the easiest way to actually achieve what you want in your life is taking it to creation. So you start by, for example, if you have an expectation around a salary increase, or you're wishing a promotion, it could just be as easy as saying, I wish you would acknowledge the work that I do, or I wish to be considered for promotion. So it is just being able to get somebody, being able to have that conversation with the person that can do something about it. But the interesting part of it is being able to have those conversations and being non-attached to the outcome of the wish. For example, if we go back to the example of the increase in salary, so you may say to your boss, after a year in the business, and I believe my performance is great, I kind of expected to have an increase, and I'm aware that I didn't receive an increase. Is it possible to have an increase? So the person can still say yes or no. So it's being unattached to the outcome, because at the end of the day, if you're attached to the outcome, you're back to square one. You're being the victim, because if he says no, you're going back to the victim. The power lies in whatever the outcome is. If it's yes, that's easy. If it's no, then you still have a choice. Do you accept that? Do you change it? In the sense that you're going to look for another position in another organization. So those are the choices you always have. And the greater the influence that we have, the kind of command and the way we're talking is escalating as well. So you can go directly from resignation, giving up, to expressing a wish or requesting. So a request would be directly stating, I request to be considered for the promotion, I request a salary increase. And we're very uncomfortable with this language. I think it's our education system that we are not given the tools to be able to express what's most important to us. So it's learning, how do we go, first of all, being aware and be conscious that you are an expectation or assumption or complaint or frustration, and then going into creation where you've got the actual power to request what is possible. The demanding is a bit difficult. It's going to be very difficult to say to a boss, I demand a salary review, or I demand that you complete the report by Friday. There's a very different, especially I think still in South Africa, it's not something you're going to do easily in any environment. This demanding environment would be more like in where there's big consequences of not doing something. So, for example, in medical environments, commanding happens more in surgeries or in at war or in the army. In the sense, you're not going to say, I wish you would attack the tank or something. You're not going to go into, please, can I request that you pass me the scalpel? Different environments require different language. So I want you really to think where currently, what is your biggest, what is your greatest reaction? Is it expectation or assumption or complaint? And then it's being understanding. So as part of this process is about understanding that responsible means, so I'm responsible for my life, and that word comes from responsible. So the true meaning of responsibility is the ability to respond. So whatever we think or whatever we say or do, we have our responses for we, and no one else is responsible. And this is actually very difficult to live by, because we actually taught to believe the opposite. So we don't consciously choose our response, but we react. And then we blame others for our reaction. And then with that comes the feeling of being imprisoned by others and our circumstances. So let's go to this exercise that I invite you to complete, and you can do this at any time. So is identify where in your life you are in expectation or assumption, or in complaint, whether it's in the work environment, or personal relationship, family relationships, or a friend relationship, or with yourself. What is it that you're expecting about yourself? What is it that you're assuming about yourself? Or what are you complaining about? So identify the issue, and then go about creating an action. So those emotions are happening because there is no action involved. And then make sure, once you identify what that action is, for example, talking to my boss or talking to my friend, is then identifying by when you're going to do this. So you're really, really showing commitment, and then go for it. So you do the same thing then with your aggression and your frustration areas and your resignation. And often it is what we used to dream about and we've resigned. So those are the big ones with self. So I invite you to complete this exercise. So this is for me one of the greatest tools. I use it all the time. I'm very aware when I'm in frustration or when I'm in complaint or expectation and assumption, and it's really unfair to the other person by not sharing what my emotions are. The second exercise that I'd like to go through is talking about challenges and benefits. So, for example, understanding what the challenges are, for example, what the anger is. So if I feel angry, so what are the benefits of being angry? It often leads us to being able to confront somebody and express that emotion. And often it is something that's been bubbling over a long period of time, and we just give up on it, and it just bubbles up, and then we explode, and then it becomes quite irrational. So it's identifying the opposite or the benefit. High emotions are when they're out of proportion of a 7 to 1. So for example, the benefit of being angry, you list all of the benefits until you feel that that it's equally balanced, with your benefit. So each challenge has got a benefit, and each benefit has got a challenge. And the easiest way to moving forward is identifying that constantly and rebalancing it. So you're not charged incredibly high by just having one of those emotions. So for example, what is the benefit of having fingers pointed at you, or somebody blaming things is actually taking responsibility. If you keep on having fingers pointed at you, it means that something is required from you to change that. So identifying the triggers that you have and seeing the benefit of that trigger. So it could be, for example, with anger, is if somebody is angry with you, is understanding that anger is their issue, and actually you're just a mirror of that reflection. So there's a great method, the Martini method, that you can research and understand as a tool to be able to balance those emotions. I'm not too sure, quite honestly, that I've explained this properly, so I'm going to take one example and go into more details. I don't want, because it is such a great tool. And if any one of you wants a specific emotion or challenge, and that we deal with that directly, then you're welcome to share with me what that challenge is. So let's go to pointing fingers. So if we feel that we're complaining that somebody is pointing fingers as what is the benefit of that? So the first time, every time you're feeling guilty or anything like this, you know that there's an action required. What is the benefit of having fingers pointed at us? Is I'm aware that something is what I believe I'm doing correct is not perceived as correct for somebody else. It allows me to change my behavior and do something that is supportive in service of others. It makes me grow. What happens when I'm growing is I become a better leader, a better parent, a better friend. It's also being able to be more resilient in when people are pointing finger at me, then I can step up and take it to the next level. So to balance out an emotion, you need to identify 25 benefits to cancel out that emotional trigger of being accused of something. So we've got to understand that for every nice experience, one nice experience cancels out 6 to 9 negative experience. And that is the constant balance that we need to do between challenges and benefits. If anybody is not clear about this method, it's called the Martini method. And if you need me to support you in any of those triggers, you're very welcome to contact me, and my details will be shared at the end of the webinar. It is a very difficult topic, but it is something that you can lessen the triggers and increase your resilience and not taking things so personally going forward. So the two tools I shared with you is a ladder of power, is being aware when that is needed to shift, and then when you're having a challenge, identifying the benefits to the challenge, and when you're perceiving somebody else having the challenge, is seeing the benefit to that person as well. And next is Belinda, and she's going to deep dive like she always does in beautiful storytelling. And I can't wait to hear her part. I haven't heard it or seen it. So thank you very much for listening and being part of this webinar. And I'll chat to you at the end of the webinar. Thank you, Belinda. Over to you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Usha. Good morning, everyone. And great to have you with us and that you are still with us as we bring our journey in for a landing this morning. I am Belinda Doveston, and as Anne alluded to, my passion is guiding people to discover and share their stories in meaningful ways, whether that's through strategy, through media, through writing, whatever it might be. I think story is the center of our civilization and is a very powerful way for us to grow as individuals and to grow our businesses and be great leaders. So today I'm going to share with you something that I assume will be very meaningful for you in reflecting on the year that's gone and preparing for the year to come. And in fact, the next decade as we wrap up this last 10-year cycle. And I'm going to share with you the hero's journey, finding meaning in 2019 and beyond. What I wanted to start with is that in our ancient civilizations, there were always very dramatic and sometimes painful and stress-filled initiations that we went through as we went through our phases of life, at birth and at coming of age and at marriage and of course at death at the end of our cycle. And I once saw a documentary about a tribe in the Amazon jungle where they have this ceremony for young boys coming of age. They have to put their hands into these kind of these mitts, and then into the mitts are put these terrible ants that bite them and are excruciatingly painful. And these young boys know that the ceremony is coming up, and if they're a man, if they become a man, they can bear through this pain. And there's this huge emotional, physical experience of shaking off your adolescence, your youth, and stepping into your adulthood as a self-realized young man or young woman. And in our modern tribes today, as we are all talking to each other as tribes, we kind of lost touch with these very dramatic physical processes we go through of shaking off the old and bringing in the new. And every new year is that opportunity to do that, to shake off the old year and not to keep accumulating the baggage of the things we didn't finish, the goals we didn't realize, the issues that we created or experienced in the year. And we carry them like baggage because we don't have these horrible ants biting us and forcing us to shake it off and just embrace the new. So every year, I really encourage that everyone has the opportunity to shake it off. Go and put your hands in the mitt and go and shake off the year that was and take everything that you've learned, internalize it, and then let it go, because that creates space for the new. So what I'd like to talk to you about is the hero's journey today. And I have Wonder Woman here as our heroine of the story. It can be hero, can be whatever hero you like. We're going to tell the story of your journey as the hero of your own life. So as part of getting the storytelling journey going, please pop into the chat box. What is your favorite movie, the movie that you love the most? Maybe you've seen it several times. What is the movie that you absolutely love? And pop that in the chat box. Let's see what kind of things that you love, your favorite movies. Okay, my favorite is The Fifth Element. So come on, let's pop into the chat box. What is your favorite movie of all time? So while you're doing that, I'll get going. And the hero's journey is all about recognizing that, firstly, every hero has a code. And you would have heard that in movies before, this idea of every hero has a code, right? And your code is your value system, your core values, the principles that you guide your life by. When we see movies, we see the hero wrestle with their code. They almost buckle, and just when you think they're about to give up on their code, they come through and are victorious at the end. And so we have a code. Our code are our core values. And you've heard us speak a lot over this year of webinars about core values and principles, both at a team and an organization and a personal level. For us, speak a lot more next year about this topic as well. And so every hero has a code. We all have a set of guiding principles. And although this is not the focus of today's webinar, I'd encourage you to understand what your code is, that you can make better decisions and not go down a dark alley while your audience is watching your live saying, no, don't go there. Okay, so every hero has a code, and every hero faces a dilemma, not a problem. So what that means is we face challenges and issues in our life, and there most likely is a particular big issue for 2019 that was on your list, a big issue. And a problem is something you go and you solve. I've got a problem, I've got a variety of solutions, solve the problem, problem is done. A dilemma, which is what we as humans face, cannot be solved that way. A dilemma is only solved by going through a transformation. So when we see movies, we see that we start with the hero, who starts the journey, and I'm going to talk about the stages of great storytelling. We start the hero with the journey, a whole process happens, and what happens at the end of the movie is that they go through some kind of change. They are transformed through the process of challenge and obstacles. And so we've got some great examples. Thanks for popping them into the list. We've got Coming to America, Fast and Furious, Pretty Woman. Oh yeah, I grew up in the Pretty Woman generation too. The Truman Show, yeah, absolutely. Joker, Man from Snowy River, The Blind Side, Toy Story, love it. Gone with the Wind, oh, classic. Thelma and Louise and Aladdin, oh, lovely, lovely examples of stories. Mine, as I said, is The Fifth Element. And if you haven't read that, watch that movie, go and watch it. And so we go through these issues of facing a dilemma. And so what we find is that there's a classic storyline to great stories. And as you're thinking about the story that you've popped into the chat box or the movie that you're thinking about, think about the structure. It's a classic, what they call a 3-act play. Now, our year, our 2019, has had a 3-act play. We have been on a journey in this year. And our task is to put our hands into the midst and to let the ants bite and allow us to realize what it is that we're letting go of, what is the journey, the story our life has been telling us, and to really get the full value of the learning of the year. I was focused on, is there more to do? You know, it's been a big year. Is there more to do? What is that more to do process? And so this is the opportunity for us to do that. Right. So every story starts with the inciting incident, right? Boom. And so the inciting incident is the thing that throws us into the action, throws us into the storyline. So in your year, your inciting incident is, and maybe like for Toy Story, the inciting incident is the move, and what's his name is left behind. That's the starting point of the process. Boom, we're in the story. What's your inciting incident for this year? What was the trigger? Was it a retrenchment? Was it an ending of a relationship? Was it a huge opportunity you didn't feel ready for? What is the thing that threw your year into full on action as we got going with 2019? And you might find that this action has actually started, in 2018, mid 2018, maybe it's the last 18 months. But what for you is the big inciting incident? Boom, zap. We're into our story, and the story has begun in earnest. The second part of storytelling is step 2, which is the challenges. All right. So we get thrown into a change of life. The inciting incident basically says, you thought you were going this way, and whoa, what's happened? We've taken a left turn, and we're going down a path that we had never expected, we hadn't planned, and we don't feel we are ready for this. We're ill-equipped for this journey that we've been sent down. So step 2 of our year would be the power, right? What were the challenges that came at us? And when we look at challenges, and directly to what Anne was saying around our frame of mind as creation or in reaction or victim mode, is that if we look at our challenges that come throughout the year as external forces that have come to punish us, that we are the victim of external forces, we are going to struggle to see the meaning of the story. Okay, and when you look at a movie, any movie, when the challenges come to the hero of the story, you as the viewer of the story, you know exactly why those challenges are coming. You can see it. So in our own lives, what we have to do is we have to see the challenges that come are coming to make us a better person, are coming to shake us, out of the old, maybe self-interested, low vibration of the hero and bring some really hectic learning in a very short space of time to get us to step into a higher level, into a bigger hero. Be the hero. I mean, most hero stories are about something happening, the inciting incident, and then the hero who has all these powers, who doesn't know he or she has got these powers, goes through a journey of discovering, I have all these powers. And you as the audience, you can see their powers. You're like, no. So we are all the hero of our own story, and we have these challenges that come. And what we have to do is put ourselves into a position of seeing the challenges as being absolute gifts that have helped us step out of where we were. These are the ants, people. All right. We've all had ants biting us in our midst this year, and we have to see those ants as opportunities to shake us out of where we were so that we can be much bigger and better in the next cycle to come, particularly as we're finishing a decade. You know, logically, there's this changeover process of this old ending and this new process beginning. As we go along in the road to experiencing our challenges, very often what happens is there are varying opportunities for the hero to change his or her ways. And you'll see that the hero has a false sense of achievement, and then, then their hopes are dashed, and then they're back down and they're thinking, I actually can't do this. I can't make this transformation. I can't do what's being asked of me. I don't have it. And we're all shouting at the screen, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Just keep going. So the third part of our hero's journey is resolution, and that's the kapow, right? That is where the hero gets to a point where his or her ego is so pushed that you have nowhere else to go but to let go of who you were. Nowhere else. I think of, one of the examples of Thelma and Louise shared as one of the movies. Think of that moment where they come to this realization that there's no road left, literally. And what they actually want to do is they want to do what they do. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched the movie. Okay. So step 3 in resolution is all about realizing there's nowhere left to go and the road has come to an end, and it's about actually making a different choice, about embracing the fact that the road has come to an end and we now need to transform. And usually just in the lowest moment when the hero is suffering the most, along comes a helper. And the helper can be in a variety of formats. It can be a wise sage, it can be a friend, it can be a thing, it can be, the helper always comes right at the last minute when you're kind of at your wit's end. And suddenly through and we have resolution. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is think about for your year, and really to go through the ritual of closing off the year, wherever you might do that. Don't go into the end of the year where we just collapse in a heap in the holidays and we kind of get through all the family stuff and we kind of roll into the new year and then we just carry on. Create the opportunity for the ants to come into your life to help you release that. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is to realize that it is the transformation that we go through that solves the dilemma. And the way that we get the last grain of value out of the few weeks left of 2019 is to see the bigger story, the deeper and more meaningful story that our year has brought to us. What are the things that we are really needing to uncover and unlock in order to learn? Because it's the learning process that brings us the challenges, and that's what we're here to learn how to do. So think about your year. What is your story for 2019? And maybe if you're brave, and I'd encourage you to be brave, is no doubt by now what is your inciting incident. If you'd like to pop that into the chat box and share either something about your inciting incident or the challenge that you faced or the transformation that you've gone through, more than welcome. It'd be really lovely. Think about that. Put that into the story. If you were watching the movie of your own life, what is the movie that you have been watching? And as you do that, think about the opportunity that 2019 has brought, the gifts that it have brought you, even if it's been extremely difficult. And it has been a big year. We've collectively, the three of us have spoken to many people throughout the year and have observed just how much is going on for people, all kinds of issues, financial issues, relationship issues, work, and you name it. So many things that come at us. Oh, lovely. Thank you, Jerome. Starting a new business. That's an exciting incident. It's taking you down a new road. Well done. Good stuff. And yeah, think about that. Think about the story of what that's brought to you and the gift of 2019 indeed. And then, of course, what story do you want to create for 2020 and beyond? Because, of course, we're starting a new cycle now. So think about 2020 and think about the story. What is the hero's journey that we need to go on? And, of course, it's quite hard to preempt what is the deepest story that we need to go on. Our story will find us. You think about what is it that you're wanting to invite? What is the transformation you're wanting to create? And what is the story that you'd like to generate around that? And then for your end of year ritual, what is your own particular approach? What is going to be your hands in the ants that you are going to undertake as a way of shaking off the year? And if you can just take a few moments to assimilate the things that we've shared with you today, to share your story, to sit down, and even if you journal it out, is think about what's your inciting incident, what is the challenges you faced, what is the transformation of last year, and what are the transformation opportunities that you would like to step into. Because if we undertake transformation of ourselves on a deeper level, that allows us to really move forward. Oh, great. I've got some nice sharing coming in there. And thank you. The gift of 2019 is getting to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Oh, outside the comfort zone is probably where we all need to be. Farrell said, my first grandchild. Oh, congratulations. Kugazen, I hope I said your name properly. I did a course in May this year based on the hero's journey and changed everything and shed my trauma and victim mentality. Life has been absolutely amazing since. Oh, wonderful. Well done. And what I will do differently this is be clear my strategy for 2020 to give me clarity in all areas of my life. Absolutely wonderful. So some great stories there. And think about next time you watch your next movie, think about the hero's journey. What is the hero transforming? Where do we start? What's the deepest story we're telling? You know, one of the things that we can do is really learn from the stories we're learning, the reading, whether it's books or whether it's movies, and translating that into deeper insights. So I trust that that's been useful for you and that you will see yourself as a hero, because we've all achieved amazing things in 2019 and there's so much more for us to do in the next decade, and that you have a journey that you're on that's unique to you, and your task is to live a deeper story, to find meaning in what you're doing and to seek a deeper level of meaning. If you'd like to find more about APN Learning and our storytelling through courses, go to apnlearning.com. And also what you can do is, if you'd like to find out more about what I do, one of the storytelling mechanisms I use is I am a student and teacher of the I Ching, which is an ancient Chinese philosophy on the nature of change. It is a beautiful storytelling, metaphoric, symbolic way of understanding the change cycles we go through in life, where we get stuck and where we need to be liberated. And I have a YouTube channel where I provide weekly and monthly overviews of the state of change we're all going through and how you can maximize your week and your month by being in tune with the forces of change around you, as opposed to being the victim of currents and turbulence that feels beyond your control. So go along to YouTube, you punch in I Ching Cafe, and you'll find it. And then we also have a Facebook page and an Instagram handle. There you've got them, I Ching Cafe, where we do daily stories to inspire you with some daily change-inspired information to help you every single day stay in tune with change, because that is the only thing that is guaranteed. So thank you so much for your attention. I'm now going to hand over to Anne to round out her closing thoughts and to share with you how you can get. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Belinda. That was beautiful. I haven't watched the movie, so I will definitely do this. Yes, so going back to the challenges and benefits, if you're struggling with something, contact me via my Facebook page, Team Dynamics, or go on my website and become a member of teamdynamics.co.za, and I can support you with asking you a few questions based on what you're struggling with, and hopefully support you that way. And thank you for this opportunity to engage with you guys. And last but not least, Usha. I
Thank
hand
you,
you over.
Anne.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Usha.
Anne. Thank you, Belinda. I'm always so inspired, and I've taken so much of notes listening to the two of you. And I love the different perspectives that each of us add and build on. And I think such a well-rounded view at the end of it. So really, thank you, Anne and Belinda, for sharing. From my side, just to everyone that's on the call, really just look at rounding up your year, like Belinda suggests, round off 2019, look in the rearview mirror, and then plan for just the best 2020 ever. And to help you, so if you're on your hero's journey, like Belinda suggests, and if you're needing a helper to just help you to close off the year and get to those insights with a whole bunch of clarity, I've got a really limited offer going at the moment, where my coaching sessions are listed at a saving of 70%. So you're paying 30% of what I normally charge for a one-on-one coaching session. They're for 2 days only, on the 3rd and the 4th of December. I'll put a link into the email that goes out with the replay video. If you'd like to book, grab one of those. If you've ever thought about being coached and about experiencing a coaching session, and if you're looking for some clarity, and if you want to close off 2019 really strong and get going on your 2020 plans and visions with the clarity that you need to unlock a magnificent year, then maybe this is something that you should consider. It costs nearly nothing, and it will bring you immense value. So look out for the link that'll go out in the replay video. And from my side, follow me on Meraki Evolution, where we're constantly sharing leadership tips and empowerment tips. And then also look me up on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram at Usha Maharaj. And there again, I'm just constantly sharing content that'll help you to take your life up to the next level. So really, it's all about stepping up, leveling up, and leveling up in everything, including how you experience your new year. Thanks to all of you for joining us on the Enshine Learning Academy webinars this entire year, 2019. We've all loved being a part of the journey with you, and your support's been phenomenal. And we're looking for you to just keep the conversation going. Find us all on social media. Talk to us through December, through January. We'll be back in January. The dates will go out by the Enshine team. And if you're looking for content in specific areas, pop us an email, and I'm sure we'll do our best to help you. Thank you all very much. Pop a goodbye in the chat box. We wish you all of the very best for the last few weeks of 2019, and we hope that you start off 2020 with an absolute blast. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a fabulous day further. Goodbye.